What is going on? You are listening to TAGSPodcast, aka Talk About Gay Sex Podcast. This is episode 618. I am your host, Steve V, alongside Jeremy Ross Lopez. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Very good, very good. And of course, rounding out our lovely equation is Kodi, Maurice, Doggette. How the hell you doing, Kodi?
Hello, darlings. I'm doing wonderful, and it's so lovely to be with y'all this evening.
Likewise.
It is, I know. I am here in Puerto Vallarta for the week, and it is lovely. We're checking in on our condo. I'm also posting a lot of videos here all week long that I will post to our Tags Patreon community, and you can get those for free when you head over to our Tags Patreon community. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. The one I posted today, I give a whole tour of the condo that I stay at, all the renovations we did, and it's a lot of fun, and tell you how you could stay here too if you want to, because it's available on Airbnb. And when you're there, you can also grab a tier, and you can grab a tier to support Tags Podcast, the podcast you've known to come and love. And with that, you get extra special sexy perks like our new 50 and Fabulous, which I give tips on how to stay young, healthy, and vibrant, commercial free, and a whole host of other things. Go to patreon.com/Tags Podcast. Okay, well, let's get into some hot topics here. Oh, I watched a great, interesting movie last night that I wanted to tell you about called The Substance with Demi Moore. And it's kind of creepy.
Oh my God, I want to see it.
It's good, but it's very creepy at the end, and it's kind of a horror film. It's a take on a character played by Demi Moore. I'll just tell you this, that she's a former aerobics instructor, and it's set in today's times, but it has a lot of 80s sensibilities about it, and it's definitely very sardonic in its approach, and it's a take on society. And she's been informed that she's no longer wanted to be the face of this aerobics, and because she's 50 now. And so that she basically takes this substance that mutates her cells to create a whole new version of herself that's younger. The catch is only each new person, well, her former self and the new self, can't live at the same exact time. They have to share every other week, and it's creepy and it's weird and bizarre, but she's really good in it. And if you can hang out through some of the creepy moments towards the end, because I mean, it really goes there. It's a take on really how far society doesn't let us age, and also how far we'll go to stay in the game. But I highly kind of recommend it and to see it. Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah, everybody's been raving about it, so I need to get on that.
Get on it, absolutely. And there's another film that we were talking about recently that's about to come out called Queer, and it stars Daniel Craig. We were talking about it because it didn't make it into, it was supposed to be at the Mumbai, M-U-B-I Film Festival in Istanbul. We were talking about it, Kodi, on Tags Live, on how they scrapped the whole festival because they didn't allow Queer, Istanbul didn't allow the movie Queer to actually play, because apparently it violated, somehow it went too far. I really want to see this movie Queer because it's by the same director as Call Me By Your Name, and like I said, it stars Daniel Craig in it. Omar Apollo has a part in it as well, that is supposed to, he plays an adult sex worker, and Jonathan Anderson, or excuse me, those are the main people in it. It looks really good, but on the red carpet in Los Angeles, because it did play there at its premiere, they asked all of the actors, including Omar Apollo, on what's your favorite part about being queer. And Omar had one of the best responses. It's just fab. I don't know. Basically, to be queer is fab. You have to be fab. It's all about the fabulous life. And they interviewed a bunch of the other cast members as well as some celebrities. Daniel Craig said it's because of its inclusivity that it includes all of us. And that's why his favorite thing about being queer. Others said you can be whoever you want. Somebody else said, artists, it has produced some of the most celebrated artists of our time. And others said, freedom, how to live life. And lastly, somebody said, basically, because of the giant laughs that our community has with one another, you can only hear a good cackling between queer people. And that's a sign that is just really resonated with them. But if I had to ask you, Jeremy, what's your favorite thing about being about queer or being in the queer community? What would you say?
I would say just the sense of like community, and I think all of the queer people that make up my life and add to it, bring so much joy and happiness and creativity to my life. And I think even just all of the characters that I've met throughout my life, and like living in New York and living in Massachusetts, and just like all of the gay people that I've come across, and then uh, going to gay vacation places and just
Yeah.
meeting so many kind people. And I don't know, it's just like a great sense of community. And I think that part makes it excellent in itself.
Absolutely. Really good things. Kodi, if I had to ask you, what's your favorite thing about being queer?
The community aspect is definitely so important to me, but also just being able to live authentically. I feel like being a queer person lends itself to not having kind of breaking from a lot of social norms. So I think that being authentic and being able to be comfortable in my own skin and around people like me, I think that that's probably the best part of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think for me, it has to do with what a lot of they were saying on the red carpet. Like today, it's so great being queer when you surround yourself around allies and other queer people. It's the freedom, I think, that I feel, the freedom to be myself. I can remember a time in the past where I wasn't so comfortable telling anybody that I was queer or gay. And now I we do a show that's all about gay sex, and I'm very unapologetic about what I do, where I used to hide behind it. It's a really good time, at least in the big cities, of course, and when you surround yourself with allies, to be queer and to be free. I really feel free to be. If I want to be flamboyant one day, I can be flamboyant, and definitely I have been. If I want to be butch it up and be a different side of myself, I can be that. And I can be everything in between. And it's that freedom to express myself within my show, with my friends, my family, that is to me just one of the best things. And I celebrate it every single day. And I do not take it for granted. So we hope you do as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we're just fab, like Omar Apollo said. I mean, it's
Fab,
best
yeah.
being gay.
Isn't that was one of the
I
they
know, right?
he was kind of stumped at first. He's like, I don't know. He's like, I think it's just being fab. It's to be fab, and you have to be fab to be queer. And so, and it really does summarize everything, kind of, when you think about it. Okay. Well, we've got to move on. And there was a recent conversation happening online asking the question: does viewing gay adult films affect your real life dating? Here's what some people actually said. And it was in a conversation on Reddit. Somebody said, mostly asking people if you're into, or excuse me, this is what a lot of people actually had to say. Maybe I'm weird, but the more porn I watch, the more I'm into regular looking guys. No abs, dad bods, older guys, guys with what are conventionally considered flaws. 15 years of steady porn viewing has actually turned me off of the chiseled look. Or maybe it's just because I'm getting older. Who knows? Regardless, real world experience has taught me that the most conventionally hot guys are more likely to be worse in bed since they can just coast on their looks. Somebody else said, I can
Mm.
fully agree. I love watching the perfectly built guys in a porn clip, but I also love the guy who is a bit more chubby that doesn't have a huge cock, who really knows how to take care of me. And somebody else said, excessive exposure is the real problem, and it applies to anything that influences your perception of reality or basis of decision making. From porn and gaming to social media, news, apps, your brain is a sponge of experiences, and you absorb what you experience in real life and digitally. I don't know. For me, I don't watch as much porn as I used to. And recently, I was telling you guys in the audience, I was on the Mexico Vacaya Resort, and we did a whole week long of Tantra workshops. And it was LGBTQ, but in these classrooms, it was all men, and it was every shape and size. And we also did the red light district at night, which was all inclusive and all shapes and sizes. And I've talked extensively about going to the dark room at the New York Eagle, and it's all types of body types too. Those are my favorite experiences, I think, and what I've conditioned myself to what I expect sexually when I'm looking for sex. I like a really huge variety of people, and I've noticed that my porn consumption has gone down ever since I've been exploring a lot more of this types of workshops and of course the Eagle, like I stated. And so for me, I don't see it as much because I don't watch as much porn. But Jeremy, you used to admit that you watched a lot of porn, but how do you weigh in on this conversation? Does viewing gay adult films affect your real life dating?
I would say yes. I think it gives you like just kind of unrealistic norms, especially if you are watching it in excess and like constantly scrolling and looking at different things and videos and stuff. And I would say I definitely watch a lot less than I used to, for sure.
Yeah, I remember when you used to watch a lot more. And so, but now you're in a relationship, and I'm sure that's affected how much porn consumption you view. Uh, Kodi, we do a whole segment almost every week on Tags Live where it's produced by Straight Up Gay Porn, and we're looking at who took the best porn shot of the week, and we give our
Hmm.
take on it. And so, how do you weigh in on this? Does viewing gay adult films affect your real life dating?
No, I still date a myriad of people. I feel like the only requirement for me is muscles, but you could be chubby with muscles, you could be skinny with muscles, you could be anywhere in between. You could every color of the rainbow. I think that as long as you're fit and muscular, and that's all that's a requirement for me. I particularly enjoy porn a lot. I probably consume a lot of porn more than anybody else that I know, but it doesn't. I know how to separate reality from porn because porn is not reality, and I will probably never have sex with anybody that looks like a porn star. Maybe we'll see what happens. Hit me up, guys. But I definitely know that it's a fantasy at the end of the day.
I think we can all agree that porn consumption it's can be you can just really I think Lincoln said it in the past. It's like a rubber band. If whatever you do something too much, it can affect how you view things. But I think a lot of us really can separate. We know that those that we see on the screen are not who we see in real life and not who we expect in the bedroom. According to like a lot of these guys on these comments, we actually want a regular body. We don't want perfect, chiseled, out of extraordinary. I mean, it's great to look at, but what are we going to do with it when we actually get it in the bedroom? And is it sustainable? We're going to do a story in a little bit about comparing your body to somebody else too. If it's so, and this, you have to remember, this is what these people do for a living. And so it's not always going to be like everybody else's body. They're not normal. They've really, they have contracts with these porn sites and this is how they make their living. So I think
Yeah.
it's good. Yeah. So,
Oh, and one more thing.
yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly that uh, or most of the time, that's people that are muscular and built like that. They feel like they don't have to work very hard when it comes to sex. So,
Ooh.
like generally speaking, I'm not saying everybody,
Right.
but
So
the
listen.
right, I got to take that out of there because
Yeah.
I don't want any comments. So, but I feel like a lot of them feel like I look like this, so you got to do all the work, and that's not the case. You have to always put in the work, baby.
Right. Absolutely. Nobody wants a lazy person in bed.
Anything.
No.
Lazy
Yeah.
bottom, lazy top, lazy side. No, thank you.
Exactly, exactly. Well, it seems recently I've just been hearing a lot about a new platform. It's been around for a little bit, but I swear, in the last couple of weeks, Blue Sky, which is an alternative to X or Twitter, everybody's been talking about it. And I first heard about it, at least in my arena, when I went to go post on my Just for Fans page. And they have a beta programming where if I post something, because right now I could, if I post something on my Just for Fans page, I can also have it show up in a preview format on X or Twitter. Well, now they're partnering up with Blue Sky where you could do the same thing with Blue Sky. And that was the first I heard about it. Then I was talking to my friend Will of Tantric Fitness, who was telling me a little bit more about it. Well, now there's all these articles. And apparently, in the month of November, Blue Sky saw over 1 million new accounts open up. And just to give you a teeny bit of background about Blue Sky, it was developed initially, the CEO was from Twitter. So you'll notice a lot of the same sensibilities that you'll find over on X. He's no longer the CEO, it's been taken over by somebody else. But it doesn't, people are flocking over there. And the reason it happened in November was because of the election. And a lot of people were fed up, especially with Elon Musk, helping Donald Trump get into office. People were fed up, and he's sort of a loose cannon, as we all know. And what is he going to do with X and Twitter? So it's nice to know that Blue Sky, you can also post a lot of thirst traps, and a lot of gays have been moving and migrating over there because it has a lot of the same features. And people are posting their new thirst traps. I started my account over there today. It's at TAGSPodcast over on Blue Sky, which you can check out. And I already posted a couple of pictures, so check that out. But Jeremy, would you be more inclined? I know you like Twitter, but would you be inclined to move over to Blue Sky, or you could layer in also Threads? Are you on Threads?
I actually am not on Threads, and I've never heard of Blue Sky before, so I'm not gonna say never, but I definitely have enough apps at the moment, like going between Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and
Right.
then already having Twitter. So
Do
yeah,
you
I think
use
I'm.
Twitter still
I
at this
mean, I
point?
use it every once in a while, but not really, and I
Right.
definitely don't really tweet.
Got it. Yeah. Kodi, what are your thoughts about Blue Sky? Is this something that you would be more inclined to move over, given what we know about X and Elon Musk owning it?
I joined a couple of days ago, maybe like 4 days
Oh,
ago. So I actually just followed Text Podcast. So give a bitch a
great.
follow back.
I will. I will.
I'm on there as Mr. Maurice. If anybody wants to follow me on Blue Sky, please feel free to follow me. I'm going to be actually be posting more there than I have ever on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, because Twitter is kind of a cesspool. The
Yeah.
moderation has gone way down to the dumps. People can just say anything, and they've got fact checkers. So I love it when a bitch gets owned in the facts check. Oh my god, it's just amazing to me. But I feel like Blue Sky is going to be a much more inclusive, a much more sex positive space, and I can't wait to see what it's all about. So I'm making a commitment to actually post there as much or maybe a little bit less as I post on my Instagram. So we'll see what happens. I can't wait to see what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. I think we needed an alternative, and I'm glad that it's here because you never know with Elon Musk what he could do with Twitter. And for people that are trying to have adult content, there's not a lot of places that you can post your content other than the actual sites like the Just for Fans and the OnlyFans, but you need to preview it somewhere. You can't do it on any of the other Instagrams and so forth. Facebook, you'll just get banned. And so it's nice to know that at least we have one other alternative that so far people are migrating to. And I don't know, I'm excited about it, of growing this community over there as well. So check it
Yeah.
out. You're at Mr. Maurice, correct?
Yes, Mr.
And
Maurice.
and I'm at Tags Podcast over on Blue Sky. Let us know what you think. Okay, well, we were talking about recently, we got to get into some health news here about Mpox or monkeypox as you formerly knew it. And we talked about some cases appearing, of course, in the UK and then in New York. Well, now California just confirmed a first case of the Mpox strain. And it's the first case of a new, more lethal strain of Mpox in a man who recently traveled to Africa. And public health officials now want to speak with anyone who may have met this person. The new Mpox clade 1 strain has a higher mortality rate than the earlier clade 2B strain that caused a global outbreak. You guys remember in 2022, and it impacted, of course, the gay community. And the World Health Organization declared a global public health emergency over the spread of the clade 1 Mpox strain in August, after a number of cases exploded in Africa. And I was looking it up just to see where it can be given. I know where I live in New York, and the Chelsea Health Clinic is offering it. And everybody that feels like they're sexually active, I think, should consider getting the Mpox vaccination, or if you've already had it and it's lapsed, to get it renewed, because these are things that you can get just not even sexually, but if somebody's in contact with it, you could also get it as well. And so we say this just for health concerns, not to freak anybody out. But I don't know, Jeremy, when you hear this and it's how it's moving and how the last strain it really affected our community, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it's definitely scary, and I don't wish that upon anyone. I actually never ended up getting the vaccination for it, but I definitely slowed down any sort of sexual activity when I heard about it. And yeah, it's scary to know that it's coming back and in
Yeah.
stronger cases now. And I would definitely recommend getting vaccinated, and I would like look for wherever you can get it near or close to you.
Yeah, yeah. Kodi, we're always talking about how, I think we were talking about recently on how our community has really been good with vaccinations and getting quick to get on things like PrEP or DoxyPap. Will you be seeking out another dosage of Mpox for yourself, or what are your thoughts about the strains that we're seeing now in California?
Oh, definitely. As soon as you said lethal, I was like, guess who's going to get a monkeypox shot? I'm going to start Googling very soon to see where I can get it from, who is offering it, because last time this happened, I saw the markings that were on people as far as the rashes were concerned, and it put me in a place where I was like, I need to do this because it's going to be too much. So, and
It
I
makes you
definitely want
really
to be able to,
scared.
yeah, I want to
Yeah.
enjoy myself out there and not be worried about getting monkeypox.
Maybe you and I can go to the Chelsea Health Clinic and we can report back on, to kind of do a little video of us getting it done to promote for our
Cool.
audience. Yeah, when
I
I
would
get
love
back.
that.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
We'll do a field trip.
I know, right? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Well,
Who's gonna
sometimes, yeah, a field trip so that we can have more fun out there and not have to worry as much. It doesn't mean that necessarily you can't get it either, because you could still get Mpox, but hopefully it will help prevent it. And also,
Yes.
if you did get it, you would at least have maybe less of an exposure to it and less of a severity towards getting, more, some of the harsher symptoms out
Hmm.
of it. So we should just mention that. Staying on health news here, there's a general practitioner out in the UK that has just revealed how people might still have a sexually transmitted infection, STI, even after receiving a negative test result. And it's Dr. Bhavini Shah from the Lloyd's Pharmacy Online Doctor that was putting it out there in the UK, but it's kind of good information that we should all have. Many STIs, they say, including the most common, chlamydia, don't present with symptoms in their early stages. And different infections have different window periods. And I didn't know a lot about this, but here's some facts. 66% of respondents were unaware of the testing windows. 62% admitted they didn't know testing too early could lead to an inaccurate result. 35% thought they could get tested immediately after exposure. And 12% revealed they had received a false positive result. So when you're testing for chlamydia, gonorrhea, it's important to wait. And I thought I would test you guys because I didn't know some of these things.
Uh-oh.
Jeremy, when testing for chlamydia and gonorrhea, it's important to wait 10 days, a week, or 14 days after possible exposure.
I would guess a week.
Okay, and it's 14 days.
Not the ant. This is the worst game of Jeopardy I ever
I didn't know
heard.
that.
Wait, but so that means that if you got tested within the week, there's
There's a
a
14 day there's a
possibility that it
possibility.
wouldn't be caught.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
I've definitely been tested and in that short time frame and found out that I had something. I didn't wait longer than I didn't wait 14 days for definite.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so that's why I think this article is really good because it's at least giving us some time frames and there's
Mhm.
different ones. I'm going to test Kodi in just a second. So get ready, Kodi.
Study.
But
I didn't study.
exactly. But I think when it's all said and done, testing. If you're sexually active, get tested more often than not because
I
of
can't
these
believe it's 2 weeks. That's so
that
long.
it could
Right?
potentially show up. And so that's just important to keep in mind. The other thing that we talk a lot about on this show is the usage of doxypep, which has become very shown to be very effective of if you've known you've been sexually active in a period of time, like let's just say I was away at the Mexico Vacaya resort and I was very sexually active in my red light district, I would then take doxypep right after within 72 hours and it could show very good signs of preventing things like chlamydia and things that, but I would still want to get tested, but this could actually get rid of it if I had come in contact with some of these. So these are other things to keep in mind too. Okay, Kodi, here's yours. To test for HIV, 32% of people surveyed thought that they could rely on a test result just a few days after possible exposure. But some people, Shah pointed out, should wait as long as 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days, Kodi, before getting tested for HIV.
Man, this is like the worst nightmare I ever had where you don't get to study for the test and the teacher's like,
It's
surprise pop
horrible.
quiz. And then you're naked and then all
Oh
the
my
people are
God.
laughing at you in
I mean,
class.
you can get it wrong, and I'm just going to give the right answer. I didn't know
I'm
any of these
stressed
either.
out.
Oh my God. Just pick one 30, 60,
It's
or 90.
60 days. 60 days.
And it's
What?
you should wait. In fact, Shaw pointed out some people should wait as long as 90 days.
Oh wow, I would have said
Wow.
30.
That
Yeah,
is so
93
long.
months. The only good thing I would say, and we all know this, is that when you're on PrEP, every 90 days, about 3 months, if you will, is when you go back to get tested again. So it could cover that. But if you had a huge sexual experience before that 90-day mark, you might want to then go back and get tested just, with either Mister or go to a different place or go back to your primary care to get tested there too. So the waiting time for accurate results for possible syphilis infections is 12 weeks. Wow, 12 weeks, something 87% of people didn't know. I didn't know that either. And so this
That's
is
3
something
months too.
yeah, and this is
Wow.
I will post this on TAGSPodcast.com because it's a lot to keep in mind. I don't think most of us are going to remember these that much, but I will at least have it there. It's something you should also talk to your primary care, and it's also good to just consider things like getting tested more often because you could forget about this if you were finding yourself sexually active, and kudos to you if you are because we are very sex progressive on this show, then maybe just build it in almost like on a monthly basis. Have somebody where you can just kind of go in there and get tested for this stuff monthly. And then you don't have to worry about all these dates on, oh, wait, it's how many days for HIV and how many for syphilis and gonorrhea, This way you can then just always kind of know and one of the months will show up something, if hopefully it won't, and you'll be free of all this. And then, of course, things like DoxyPep is a good thing to also keep in mind as well. So, okay. Just to let everyone know, there's a new season 3 of For the Love of DILFS, and it promises to be just as salacious. Of course, the contestants, if you don't know the show, it's on Out TV. They're on their third season. Stormy Daniels is the host of it. They're all living in a mansion. So we've got the daddies who are also looking for himbos. And this year season promises to be even more drama because that's what we're looking for in the show. Will you be watching this, Jeremy?
Oh,
Season.
definitely. My boyfriend and I already talked about it, so
Okay,
I
great.
plan to tune in, and I watched the first 2 seasons, and I loved it, and I love Stormy Daniels.
Me too. I
I
love her too. I watched season 2 with my boyfriend, and I think this is kind of a fun program to watch with your best friends or your boyfriend as well, and just laugh at all the drama. I think it's the kind of content we need right now post election. Will you be watching
Yeah,
this?
definitely.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It's lighthearted and fun, and it's silly.
Oh, exactly. Cody, will you be watching?
Oh, you know it. I love For the Love of DILFs. I really miss the twins from last season, but
Oh
I'll
my
make it happen.
god.
No, they were the best.
They were
You
a
have to admit,
lot.
Was
they were
that
good TV though.
was it Derek and Daniel?
I
Or
believe it was
Yes.
something like that. They were
yeah,
the
they
best. They
were
were so hilarious.
hilarious.
And their accents, I'm like, where are they even from with those accents? It's a great show.
I came across their TikTok, and they're just so funny. They're a lot. They're a lot, but they're funny.
They really grew on me. At first, I thought they were too much for me, and then I thought, nope, they're just for the right amount that I need. They offer so much to the show, and yes, I hope we get a whole new batch of fun himbos and daddies on season 3 of For the Love of DILFs. Check it out. Okay, if you also are going to find yourself in the New York area and you want to get your mind off of what we've been going through, we are approaching Christmas. And I know, Jeremy, I'm going to be going with you, which I'm really excited to, something called Santa's Secret. And
So excited.
it's a naughty holiday cheer that is going to be an immersive holiday experience, transforming an all new expanded location in West Chelsea. And think cabaret. There's going to be an actual cocktail den where they're going to have music and they're going to have all kinds of naughty entertainment. And I think you're in this experience at 6 different stations you can go to, where you're going to have North Pole's naughtiest secrets. You'll have things like all kinds of seductive gingerbread ladies and Santa's secret famous lumberjack. And it's going to be an immersive experience with all kinds of sexiness, also hosted by Shaquita. It's going to be really
Ooh.
good. There's burlesque, think aerialist, jaw-dropping acts, peeling back the layers to reveal one of Santa's best kept secrets. And we're going. I'm really excited for this. It's going to be really cool. It reminds me a little bit, Jeremy, on a smaller scale for 3 years in a row. You co-hosted, I hosted it at my place, a Christmas Xmas party. We've talked about it before, but
Yes.
we ditched the ugly sweaters in place of leather. You had to come in either leather. One year we did a masquerade ball where you still had to be in leather. We had demos of flogging. I had my sling set up in my back
Oh
room.
my god, we had your sister in a corset where she couldn't sit down or breathe.
Exactly. I bought her these platform stilettos that
Poor-
she was storming around in, and
Oh
It
we
man.
was a
really
lot of fun.
it was a lot of fun, and we created a whole experience for people. Yes, so you're excited about this, Jeremy, for sure.
Super excited.
Yeah, and I think it's the right thing that we need right now. So if you find yourself in New York, check out Santa's Secret. Cody, if you want to join us as well, jump on.
Ooh.
But it's Santa's Secret. People can go to santasecret.com. And it's produced by Brandon Voss, who's known kind of in the LGBTQ plus industry to put on some really good events. So it should be pretty good. Would this be something right up your alley, Cody?
It sounds amazing. I love Shaquita. I love Christmas, and I love sexiness. So I think it's a winner on all fronts.
Exactly. So check that.
Shaquita, sexy Santa, perfect.
Right. What else do you need? Right. And the perfect thing to get your mind off of what we've been going through. Okay. Well, this TikToker was really talking about gay dating ruins. Like, what really is ruining gay dating? He thinks he has the secret. A lot of people were agreeing with him, and it had to do with self esteem. He said dating as a gay man is complex, as we all know. But it was one guy who racked up over 97,000 views on his TikTok. User at DrewSoup6 shared their theory on why gay men are so hard on their own appearances. Quote, one of the hardest parts about being gay is being hyper aware of how attractive you are in comparison to the guys in your dating pool. The reason this is a gay thing is because we share the same physical body as the people we're attracted to and the people we're trying to attract, right? So it's much easier for us to compare ourselves to other guys and guys that we're talking to. And he uses the example that in heterosexual dating, it's apples and oranges. Guys, look, we have different body parts and we're not comparing. But when it's two guys on guys, we're comparing ourselves. His theory, he said, a lot of time you take two gay guys, everyone's going to have a quick opinion on who's hotter because it's a very linear scale. With straight people, he said you don't have that. It's apples and oranges. And he said it's the potential to be attracted to yourself that makes gays' self esteem so complicated. He says the hardest part about this is when you look in the mirror and because you're aware of what turns you on, of what you're sexually attracted to in a male body, and you know that you would not be sexually attracted to yourself. He does leave us on a positive note by saying that I guess the one good piece of good news is that opposites attract. So somebody maybe out there will find you attractive, even if you looked in the mirror and thought, I wouldn't be attracted to that. And that to me is the silver lining in everything that he said, because I totally agree with that. My boyfriend and I don't look anything alike. I was talking to my sister about it, and I love how we're so different from each other. That's what makes it all the better. And I know he's attracted to me, and opposites do attract. But when you hear this theory, Jeremy, of it's scary dating, knowing that we're always comparing ourselves and our self esteem is really hit when we enter this dating pool. What are your thoughts?
I would agree and disagree. I'm kind of like right on the fence. I think that I've definitely been in the situation where I've done that, but I think it helps when you get out of your own head and you just really uh, look for and enjoy someone's personality over how good
Mm,
looking they are. And I think that that's where you really open up and are able to connect with someone on another level that's more than just topical. And obviously physical attraction will always be a thing, I think, for heterosexual and homosexual people, and especially in our community. But I do think that when you uh, focus less on it and you think outside of the box, and like you said, attracting yourself to maybe someone that you'd never be attracted to before, or someone that is the complete polar opposite from yourself, I think that's when you really uh, give yourself the opportunity for something new and fresh. And I think for me, personality always trumps everything.
yeah, and I agree with the connection that you can really have with somebody that you really, that's what you're really looking for. This person, by the way, that we're talking about is very young and grew up, I believe, in social media and probably, I think when you grow up with social media, when it's always been a part of your life, you are comparing people, and our community can be very harsh, especially on the apps like that. And so I think trying to find a connection first and foremost, and getting out of that mindset that we all have to compare. I know it's still going to happen, but trying to find more of those connections. And that's why I think it's always great if you can divide your time between the apps and really getting out there, whether it's a hobby or meeting people and going out with your friends and just start talking to people. That's when you can really get a little bit less out of the comparison and more into the connection, which is, I think, what we're all hopefully looking for. Kodi, when you hear this and where he's coming from and our self-esteem and how we compare, is it a dire is it dire looking from his lens at this?
Oh, I agree with him on the fact that when you're in a gay relationship, comparing yourself to that other person is something you're inevitably going to do. And it's just a pitfall that you kind of have to rise above. I know with my ex, I always felt like he was the more, not necessarily attractive one, but attractive to certain types of people. He got more attention than me. Let's put it that way. And that really put it mind fucked me. Basically, I had to do a lot of work, and I've been doing a lot of work in order to build up my self-esteem. So the second part of that, where he's like, I look in the mirror, and I say I wouldn't be attracted to myself, I don't see that at all, because I look in the mirror and I'd be like, damn, he is fine. I wish I could clone him and date
Oh
myself.
my gosh. Okay, the substance.
The substance, honey. Me and Demi Moore will be right in there on that substance, because
You might want to watch the movie because it's a very crazy ending, and you might want to rethink that. But I'll let you watch it and decide.
I can't wait to watch it. Sometimes I'd be in the club and I look over and I'd be like, "Ooh, who is that cute boy?" And then I see in the mirror that it is me, and I feel like, damn, I can't go talk to him, because I would just be talking to myself, and that would look weird in the club. But yeah, so that part I definitely don't align with.
Wow, interesting.
But I get it. Our self-esteem is definitely enlocked or encroached in basically comparing yourself to your partner. It's because, again, it's apples to apples instead of oranges to apples.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's give some advice. We love giving advice on the show. By the way, you can always write into us and we can give sex and relationship advice to you. We are here for you. We'll give our handles at the end of the show. But this one came from Reddit, writing in saying, talking to my life partner about becoming an adult content creator. I'm 30 and want to become or take a gander at being a solo adult content creator, but I don't know how to bring this up to my husband, who's 36. I've joked about it in the past to gauge his response, and he hasn't been a fan of said jokes and clearly would be against it. However, I don't see anything harmful about it since, as I mentioned, it would just be me going solo. I wouldn't be collaborating with any adult content creators. I feel it would help close the big gap in our libido's sex drive, since I would be able to explore myself sexually more often. And I've also come to know that I have an exhibitionist kink, which I could also express in a healthy way. I don't really know or am close to other couples in long relationships who have this. Basically, they wanted, would this be okay for you, Jeremy? Or if you, like, I could just give my perspective first, where when I met my boyfriend, one of the first things I told him, besides having a sex podcast, was that I had this at the time, new OnlyFans just for fans, and I was doing that. And I said I was doing some collabs, but I was also doing solo work, and he was totally cool with it. But he knew this from the get-go, and he's told other friends. I think recently we met some friends that he had met before, and they were asking me, "Oh, I heard you do porn." I said, "I don't really do porn, but I do OnlyFans as well as." They're like, "Oh, okay." And so I said, "What did you tell them?" He says, "I just mentioned that you have an OnlyFans account." And I'm like, "Okay." Somehow that turned into porn, but that's okay. And anyways, it's not that far from it, and I wasn't upset, but he knew going into it and has totally accepted it. Jeremy, what would you think if midway through the relationship you found out that your boyfriend wanted to start, even though it was only going to be a solo content creator?
I think it would probably bother me. So I think it's very different when you start out a relationship and you're upfront about it, and it's something that you really already have done, and they're meeting you at that time period. But I think if it started in the middle, I think I would still be jealous, and I don't know. I just think that my my head would get the best of me, and I wouldn't want to share my partner with everyone. Even if it's solo content, it's still out there, and I feel like I take ownership of like who I'm dating, and they're
Right.
mine, and I like
Oh,
to
wow.
I like to no, I like to feel like they're only mine, and I don't like to share. And so for me, I feel like that's a bit of a compromise in sharing, but I do think that this person being honest with their partner, that's not a bad thing at all. I just, for myself, I don't think I'd be okay with it, and I think my Latino jealousy side would definitely come out. And but if you met this person and they wanted to do it from the start, that's a whole different ball game, I think. But
Yeah.
regardless, I would still say it's good to be honest with your partner rather than like create the content and then have him find out or something like that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I mean, yeah, Cody, how do you weigh in on this? Because you want your partner to express themselves, and it's not like he said he wanted to go cheat on his boyfriend or anything like that, but
Hmm.
it is something that is going to be out there for, hopefully, if he's successful, thousands and thousands of people to be viewing his boyfriend, even if it is solo. Would this be a problem for you if somebody came midway through the relationship and said, "I've always wanted to do this"? What would you think of that?
Well, at first it would definitely be a problem because me and Jeremy are very aligned on what he said, and I am also very jealous. So, but I have learned a lot of lessons in the past year, and I do think if he presented it to me, like he just presented it on the Reddit thread or wherever he put this. And likewise, if he presents it to his boyfriend in this fashion by saying that this is to bridge the gap between it's something that I need because my libido is more than yours, and this is a way for me to express myself, to get my kink out, and it all of it seemed very healthy and not in a way that could be detrimental to the relationship. So give your partner some time and some space and explain it to him and come from the heart. And that's all you can really do. And then I feel like eventually I would be okay with it. But in the beginning, I would
Yeah.
I would have
It's
to walk away, girl.
I'm not going to lie, even because I mean, I do this, but I think it's kind of a big ask, I think, for a lot of people to overcome. You would have to really express why this is important to you. And actually, while you could do that, be ready for a big fat no that
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with this. And,
Well,
if
I also think like this guy specifically, because he's already dropped it a bunch of times and it has been in a joking manner, it sounds like. I think he might be better off with being like just blunt and straightforward about asking and then get his boyfriend's opinion, because it sounds like it's like a little bit of a passive aggressive approach to the subject, and it may be better to just be like straightforward and be more direct about what he's asking.
Yeah, and as you were talking, I was thinking maybe there's even another alternative that he could present too, just to try. What is the thing that we've talked about, cuckolds, Cody, where
Oh
somebody
Oh,
man,
watching, like
that's
him
watching?
watching.
What if
but
Yeah.
he
that's
filmed? What if the boyfriend, he asked the boyfriend to film him so that he could act out, and it could almost be like my secret fantasies acted out in front of my boyfriend and for your eyes as well too, but it was he wouldn't have to necessarily be, but he could be the filmer and he could do all these things for his boyfriend, but then also the boyfriend would always know what the content is and he would almost be like a part of it. And when you post on these OnlyFans just for fans, you have to put a little description on there. Each one could start off with, "Tonight, I tease my boyfriend, and and you guys get to see it too." Like he could almost incorporate him, not on camera, but he could be the camera guy. Would that could be interesting, right? As a
that
way
sounds
to
hot.
convince him, yeah. And then
It's
everybody gets
definitely another approach too,
it's
like
another
that, giving
right.
him some sort of option rather than just one.
Right, exactly. Like maybe present that as well, because I think that could go somewhere if you involve them a little bit more. But I don't know. Good luck with that. And like we said, if you want sex and relationship advice, we are here for you. Thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun, as always.
Definitely.
You can always follow my co-host. You can follow Jeremy on the gram at J Ross Lopez, at J Ross Lopez on Instagram. Follow Kodi. He is on Instagram as well at Mr. Maurice, at Mr. Maurice. And of course, we just learned about your Bluesky, which is at also
Mr.
Mr.
Maurice.
Mr. Maurice, yes. And you've got an Indiegogo out for your new EP. And go to Indiegogo and look up Kodi Maurice, correct? To donate to
Yes.
your upcoming EP. Also follow me on the gram. I am _Steve V. Go to my Bluesky or my X account. Both of them are at TAGSPodcast. And there you get a preview of my Just for Fans or OnlyFans content. And I'm posting new content this week over on those sites. So check that out. And you can also, of course, go to our Patreon page where you can get all kinds of extra special free content and tiered content. Go to patreon.com/TAGSPodcast. Thanks, guys. And as always, continue having hot
Hot
gay
gay
Yay.
sex.
sex.